Hello again, everybody. Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. Tuesday, July the 2nd. And these are the charts of the day at thetechtrader.com. Market's still intriguing, and a lot of stocks are still really looking good on the long side, particularly some of the biotechs and some of the specialty stocks. Let's take a look at a few of them. ACRX jumped from opening at 992 up to 1177. It did back way off to 1055 and closed up 70 cents or 7%, but the volume was solid, 1.8 million, and it did make a new high, reaching up not that far from the top of the recent channel, or current channel, I should say. And so the pullback to the mid channel, not unusual. Now, if you take a look at the overall chart, you'll see the stock has moved from the 2.25 range up to 1177, and just in the last year or so, less than that, since last November. So, it's got a nice movement going. I think the angle of ascent may accelerate, but we're going to have to wait for that first. Let's see if today's high at 1177 is taken out. I'm actually looking for the stock to get up towards 14 or 15 on a short-term basis, but we'll see if we get a follow-through. AFOP had a nice day today. Traded 649,000. That's the biggest volume on an update in well over a year, at least for 2013. And the stock, after testing the trend line at 50-day, yesterday snapped back. Today it popped to retest the highs up around 24.05 or so. It's reaching actually a new high at 24.24 before backing off to 23.73. Nevertheless, up $1.85 or 8.46%. Get through here. I'm looking for a move that takes us to 26.5 short term. ALNY, another biotech that's acting great. Opened 33, got up to 35.97. Closed just 13 cents off of there at 35.84, 285 or 8.6%, and traded over 1 million shares. Good volume. You can see it's spiked up to resistance. Look at the long-term chart. You'll see the major mid-channel line here and lateral price resistance is being tested. So we very well may get a pullback opportunity. But if we do, and it consolidates nicely for several days to a week or so, we may see this then thrust up towards 40. And then eventually into the mid to high 40s. Celdex, a swing trade of ours, which we put out originally here and when it ran up and then pulled back, spiking up nicely today, jumping at 201 to 1837 to close us 1 cent off the high for the day, or 12% on 4.7 million. That's the biggest volume we've seen since March. And at this point, I'm looking for a little bit of an extra move to get this up towards just under 20, perhaps around 20, 19.75, something like that. There's your target right there. That's a short-term target. Favorite Cree continues to act well, even though we had a big dip the week before last. The stock held lateral support and the prior high. Even though it did dip under the 50, it snapped right back, backed off the lateral price resistance, and then went through it today, reaching 67.75. Backed off a point, closed up 244, 3.8%, nearly 3 million traded. A good day for it. At this point, I'm going to have to look for more upside, and I have a target now. It's 72, folks. So look for more upside on Cree, and I think we'll get there. ENVI, big pop today, jumping 31 cents or 15%. Volume was 430,000 shares. Doesn't sound like a lot, but decent volume for that stock. More importantly, though, the wedge that it formed after a breakout and pullback. Right in here, held up, and the stock exploded. Now, when we look back at the overall chart pattern, you'll see that a big gap exists, around the 295.98 zone. I'm expecting that to be the short-term resistance and target up here. Ford, well, this has been wonderful all year. In the last year or so, has gone from under 9 to over 16. A beautiful long-term rising channel. Tells me this may be headed for a juxtaposition of resistance up around 17.5. Secondary target 18.5. Something looks pretty good. KKD, Krispy Kreme, after popping out of the wedge, then stalling for 2 days on light volume, it accelerated Monday and again today, up another 81 cents or 4.45%. On 2.5 million, that's the biggest volume on an update since back here about 4 weeks ago. So looking for more upside. Perhaps to get this to 20.5 short-term, secondary target near 23. Mankind, nice day today. It popped to 728, close 723, up 44 cents, 6.5% on 10 million shares. Looking at the volume here, that's the biggest volume traded in about 8 sessions. More importantly, the stock broke out above the declining top sign out of the wedge yesterday and followed through nicely today for a gain of 44 cents or 6.5%, like I said. It looks to me like this is going to test key resistance at 8056. You get through that, my target's $10. PSUN, beautiful chart and beautiful rising parallel channel, but short term, it's accelerated up to lateral resistance. If we get through here, this can accelerate up towards 5, but we have to see whether we can get that follow through. 1.5 million traded today, up 8.5%, and we'll keep tabs on this one for you. PWRD. Now, I'm liking the way this overall chart pattern looks. After a big run up in 2012 and a pullback to test the lows on several occasions, and then forming a base over a period of a year, we finally got the movement beginning in April, consolidating in May, another move in early June, pullback in late June. Since then, from 1435, we've spiked up to just under 20. We may be short-term overbought, but we have moved through 2 layers of resistance. At some point, I'd be looking for more upside, perhaps to get this one short-term to about 22.5, 3/4. Beyond that, secondary target of 25. SVU, ever since I recommended this stock back in here, you can see the stock has consolidated beautifully, flagged, kept stair-stepping its way higher. Now, in the last 6 weeks, from the big consolidation. But with today's action, it broke out of that declining channel top with a pop of 30 cents or 4.6%. Volume was 4.5 million. Looks like we're going to try to test the highs around 710, and we get through that. Looking for the top of the channel up around 9 as my secondary target. TEAR also came out of a falling channel. In the last 3 sessions, it's moved up every day. I'm looking for more upside in the stock, perhaps to get it to test the old highs around the just under 13 level, followed by more upside around 14, 15 zone. Tesla, well, we had a big pop, opened at 18, got to 118, got to 121.89, and backed off to 115.5 before closing with firm up 64 cents. Nominal gain on the day, but net it made a new high. And I'm still looking for more upside that takes this up towards, believe it or not, short-term target of 133. Pretty powerful. I want to see a little bit better technicals, but a really nice looking chart. And finally, it's Winnebago. I pointed out yesterday that the stock had popped out of the wedge. Nice follow through today, jumping up towards 24.72 to tag resistance before backing off to 23.77, nearly a point, but it was still up 79 cents. I have to see if we get a follow through. My next target up around the 27 range at the top of the channel. And that's it for tonight. You guys have a good evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Let's go get them.